This week I paid a visit to our city council to do my part to stop a 4.5 Costco-sized prison from moving in across the highway from an elementary school. I came to YouTube to talk about movies, but that also means I've seen enough movies to know that when you see a 640,000 square foot monster looming over your community, you gotta put the popcorn down and say something. And I think I'm in the right place because saying something is what we're good at here on YouTube. So I'm making this video for the creators, the storytellers, the people that write their own material and have something to say. I'm here to tell you that if you're influencing on any level, you can influence at any level. Your strength for talking about things you're passionate about can translate into real change in your community. So we need you. And in this video, I'm gonna share the story of how in a single day, I went from talking to this camera to the mayor of San Antonio.
Nora, are you sure this is an emergency? We have tickets to the theater.
Hi everybody, Papanaut here. I'm a dad that loves movies from San Antonio, Texas. And to understand what I'm doing outside of the theater this week, I gotta give you a little bit of context. Recently, you may have seen the story of Liam Ramos, the adorable 5-year-old in the bunny hat that ICE agents captured in Minneapolis and transported to a detention center in Dilley, Texas. Located 1 hour and 20 minutes from where I live, the Dilley site is a private prison operated by Core Civic, and that's important to note because we do not have the private prison infrastructure in this country to keep up with ICE's goal of 3,000 arrests a day. And since building a new prison takes years and requires environmental studies and city cooperation, the federal government has moved to Plan B, buying existing industrial warehouses and converting them into, and I'm just gonna say it, concentration camps. Which brings us to San Antonio, where this week ICE purchased a 640,000 square foot warehouse with plans to convert it into what they're calling a processing center. This warehouse is located directly across the highway from Essence Prep, a charter school serving pre-K through 8th grade. There are 4 additional schools in a 2-mile radius, which makes the placement of a prison impossible according to state guidelines. Unfortunately for these students and their families, the exploit that the federal government is using to create these camps supersedes any regulations by the city or state. Here's our mayor speaking on the situation.
The city attorney is looking at some additional options for the council to consider. I don't want to get ahead of that, nor frankly raise anybody's expectations about what's in the realm of possible, because a lot of that goes away when in fact the operator and owner of it is the federal government, right? So they're doing some digging about what's in the realm of possible.
I sense a little bit of defeat in her voice, but we're seeing cities get creative when it comes to pushing back. In Roxbury, New Jersey, city engineers are arguing that converting a warehouse into a 1,500 person facility, the same size of the one they're looking to put in my hometown, would overwhelm the local sewer and water capacity. That kind of red tape might not stop ICE, but it'll damn sure slow it down. And that's why when I saw this flyer on Instagram directing interested parties to sign up and speak at a city council meeting later that day, I took a chance and put my name down. I have zero experience in a forum like that, but fortunately their site outlines all the information you need, from where to park to how long you have to speak. So all you gotta do between the time you sign up and the time you speak is figure out what you're gonna say. Now in my case, I had about 4 hours to come up with a tight 2 to 3 minutes that would hopefully convince the council they are not powerless. Here's what I said. I'm here to voice support for Councilman McKee Rodriguez's effort to put a stop to the ICE processing center that Oakmont Industrial Group wants to infect our town with. The facility we're talking about is a 640,000 square foot warehouse on the city's east side. I am a dad, so I spend a lot of time at Costco, and I want to give you some perspective. Do you know how big the average Costco is? 147,000 square feet. Council, this processing center is 4.5 Costcos. You don't need 4.5 Costcos to process people. You need space like that to store them. You wouldn't let a developer build a literal Costco without studies and hearings and permits. But we're being told that because the federal government has the checkbook, the city has no power. I don't buy it. Now, I've done some cursory research, enough to understand that city zoning regulations have no impact here. And I've started to sense a defeatist narrative forming from local officials. But before you take that L, I'm here to ask you the same thing I'd ask my son if the chips were down. What are you best at, and how can that help? Council, we both know what you're best at because we both drove here today. You can take a process as straightforward as build a new road and slow that process down to such a degree that it appears frozen in time. You're best at paperwork, bureaucracy, and bumming people out. I'm here to ask today that you take that string and you point it at Oakmont Industrial Group. Do what Kansas City did. Pass a moratorium on all non-municipal detention permits. Use our fire and safety codes to deny a certificate of occupancy. Call for environmental reviews. Start trying to find some small critter that only lives there, and then let's rally around protecting that critter. You can make a difference. You can make their lives harder. And isn't that a win for San Antonio? To send a message to these real estate fat cats from Georgia and the federal government to say if you come to our town with intent to make our lives harder, San Antonio will return the favor. Yes, it felt good to say that, and I was happy to see I wasn't alone in that sentiment. From the moment I entered the chamber to the moment I left, I watched neighbor after neighbor go up to that microphone and passionately deliver the same message. Not one other bit of feedback that day. It was the only issue we had to discuss. Our community isn't going to the council to take issue with our neighbors, immigrant or not. We're going to the council to ask they do all they can to protect the good thing we have going here from the federal government. Voices matter. Messages matter, and that's where you come in. If you're a creator watching this, you already have the tools to do what I did. You don't need to be a policy expert. You just need to be a neighbor who knows how to tell a story. To find your own city council meeting, just Google your city name and either city clerk or public comment sign up. Now, when you get there, there's 3 things you need to do. 1, find the agenda. City councils have a ton of meetings, so you want to make sure that you're booking time at the right one. Number 2, sign up. Most cities let you register online up to a few hours before the meeting. Number 3, bring your camera. I wish I did. You can record in there, so record your 3 minutes, post it online, tag your reps. We're the ones who make the noise. No matter what monster they want to drop in your backyard, make sure they have to do it while the cameras are rolling.
And I haven't once asked what's in it for me.
What are you saying, Ray?
I'm saying, what's in it for me?
When you speak at a city council meeting, your name and comments are added to the public record. It's hard to describe how that feels, knowing while you're speaking that you're making history. Now, in school, you read excerpts from records like these. Take the Civil Rights era, for example. And I don't know about you, but when I read quotes like that from normal people, I always think how lucky for their grandchildren to be able to verify the character of their ancestors. Long after we're gone, these records still exist. Our names and our words and our pictures. People will remember this moment. With the amount of data we collect now, they'll be able to look back right at you. So what you gotta ask yourself is, who do you want them to find?